like 4 packs a day with the doors closed.
And cigarettes on the ground.
Right.
The cigarettes on the ground.
But this was his house.
But it was a house.
Right.
The ground was
subfloor.
The ground was subfloor with dirt on top of it.
Yeah.
In his house.
Right.
I've never seen anything like it, and I never will again, I don't think. It was awful.
And you walked in the door, to your right was just kennels on top of kennels.
I think they were 4 high.
Oh my dog. Dog. Oh my dog.
Oh my dog, hey.
Oh my dog, hello.
We're back.
Back again.
It's Kara.
And Holly.
And we're here to just talk some smack about some dogs and stuff.
Oh, we got some smack.
Yeah, we do. So we're just going to start this episode a little bit about our stats of what's happened in the last couple of weeks since we were last together recording.
It's been a doozy.
I tell you, I feel like we took in and adopted out less dogs in the last couple of weeks, but it's been 6 times the work.
It feels like hell.
Like honestly. Yeah, it's been a rough one.
I know I called you a couple days ago. I was like, hey, Kara and I, we call each other pretty regularly.
Yeah.
At least once a day.
Yeah.
If you're lucky, just once.
Yes.
And I was like, hey, I need a timeout. We got to take a step back. And she's like, why? What's going on? I'm like, what do you mean? Why? What's going on? No, we're fine. Everything's fine.
Fire burning behind us, smoke everywhere. I was fine until you called me and told me that we weren't fine. And then I was like, oh crap, she's right. I should be panicking, but I wasn't. I was just in like a spike of, adrenaline and trying to get everything done and do. I wasn't even like seeing like the little fires that were starting and going to turn into like large explosions, but
call 911. Get Teddy Swims in here.
It's just like, girl, cool it. I was telling somebody came over to meet one of my foster dogs, and I was telling her that Holly and I are such a good compliment to one another because we aren't afraid to say, "Excuse, are you okay?
Right?
Is everything all right?" Like, And I think that that's going to be our key to not burning out in doing this is just to be able to have that check and balance of like, hey, I can handle it. I'm good right now, and hey, you know what? I need a minute, and it all works out.
Right. And I always say, you do you, boo. If you're good, go for it. But I got to take a step back because this is too much, and that's it's okay.
Yeah,
it's taken me a long time to be comfortable saying that.
I think that's what happens.
Not just in rescue,
just in life. I think that's what happens in your late 30s. You have made so many. Yeah, I'm in my late 30s.
I'm older than you.
Yeah, we're in our late 30s. We're going to retire, and
you didn't have to say it out loud like that. Anyway.
They can zoom in on the YouTube video and know.
See these grades? I earned every one of them, baby.
Mm-hmm.
No, everything's cool. It's just we've had some phone calls and some returns, and dogs. We've had this rash of dogs that take more effort. More broken down dogs that just need more finesse, more experience.
Not an easy, adorable Pomeranian from lap to lap in 30 seconds. So, we like to have those to fill in the gaps, but I suppose if there wasn't a challenge, it wouldn't be as fun.
That's what we don't.
That's why we don't date and marry nice men. Well, you did one time, but
that one time.
Yeah. So let's talk through what happened in the last couple of weeks, just really high level without trying to like spiral. So we had 9 intakes, and within those intakes, we had 2 returns. So I'm going to talk about those first really quickly. The first one was Ruckus, who was the most beautiful boxer I have ever seen. He's so striking. He was my foster for 1.5 hours.
Yes. We timed that out well.
It was so good. So I said, Ruckus is having to come back because he got off his leash. He scared a lady in the neighborhood. The landlord of the place where Ruckus was staying was like, yep, you had 1 strike and that was it. Your dog got off the leash, scared somebody in the neighborhood. He's got to go. You've got 7 days.
Awesome. Thanks for that.
So we used the 7 days. Holly was smart and said, hey, you should post him right now and put him on the website, put him on Pet Finder, which I normally would wait until the dog is in my possession. Like, I just feel like, some miracle is going to... Yeah, I don't want to jump the gun. But it was smart because I ended up getting 2 applications for him, I think, 2 or 3. One of which was someone who your dad knew. And so when I saw the reference,
Ron said my dad as a reference.
I was like, well, okay.
Approved.
And but don't just write that if you don't know Ron. That's going to be the trick. You'll have to know his phone number. So anyway, I called them and I was like, hey, I'm getting this dog returned at 5:30. Can you come at 6? And quite literally, the dog got dropped off. There was the tears, all of the things, and we
Understandably.
Yeah, I don't blame the people that had to give him up. They were very sad about it. But anyway, I send Ruckus out for a quick run around in the backyard, come back out, meet the people. We go inside. He eats their little Westie. Everything went pretty well.
Did you say eats or meats?
Well, he didn't eat him because they took him home. Meat.
I heard eats too. And I was thinking, like, is this a dog food brand? What is a little Westie?
My sweet grandmother always says, I can't understand you. Could you slow down? And that's kind of my go-to. I talk too fast. Yes. He met his brand new little brother who was a Westie.
Oh.
And they met in my living room and kind of bopped around. And he'll be all right. So I gave them a referral to a trainer just to make sure he was starting off on the right foot. And they took him home. And I have not heard a word. So I guess that's good news.
Paws crossed.
The next one that came back in was Melon.
Oh my God.
This has been the bane of our existence for the last week, but let's just say we thought Melon was going to the perfect home and we thought wrong. And again, I got to take down another finger. It's going to really happen quickly on this podcast, but again, one other time that I was wrong. I thought that this
Count them. 1, 2. That's it.
That's it. Only time. I thought these people who, and I quote, stated that
They had fostered, rescued, whatever, over 400 dogs and cats and whatever, dogs and cats in Florida at some point.
like they were a foster home for 400 animals. And they said that they had never seen a dog as bad as this tiny Chihuahua that they had in their house for a week. Now, mind you, he is spicy, but we gave exact instructions on what to do to allow him to thrive because we have seen him bond with a person and get over himself. But in a new situation, he's spicy, and our communication just did not sink in.
Yeah.
So,
And I think I'm just going to try and,
it was just, the whole thing was just so ridiculous
here. Yeah, it was just one of those things where I don't think it was ever going to work out.
No, they weren't the right people for that dog. That's okay.
And dogs will do this.
Holy crap.
Is this the text? Oh, we just got right now happening live.
Let me add this to our adoption list.
We just got notification that our dear Padlock has been adopted.
Got a Venmo for Padlock.
Yay!
Wow. Maybe that means we shouldn't talk any smack about poor Melon's crappy 1-week family.
and I just got a text checking in about Dorito. Excellent.
Very nice. Things are turning around.
Oh my God.
Gotta go through Hell Week to get to the good day.
That's what I was just telling the person who came to meet that dog. I said, if you do not go through trials and tribulations, then the good things are not so good.
Right.
And so we like to have a little bit of ups and downs on this roller coaster.
Okay, so
anyway.
for Ellen, anyway, yeah. I just, dogs will, like I was saying, dogs will do that. If they are not in the right place, they'll find a way to get out of there. And Melon certainly did that.
Yeah.
So he is back in foster.
Yeah.
And when I brought him home, he ate fine for me.
Mm-hmm.
He used potty pads religiously. He never pottied in his kennel. But yeah, he's very spicy, like welding gloves spicy.
Yeah. At first. And then he comes around. But he will.
You just have to leave him alone.
Yep. Which is all we said. And that was not an acceptable answer, I guess. But anyway, so he's hanging out at Tracy and Johnny's house while we do this podcast. And then I'm going to try to remember to pick him up on the way back home to Urban Hill and take him to my house.
Missed your exit. Whoops. Sorry. Sorry, Tracy.
But I'll throw him in with my crazy bunch and he'll be fine and then we'll figure it out.
And they also didn't have another dog, and I think that might be...
That's a lesson learned for us. Maybe he does need another dog.
We call those helper dogs.
Yeah.
Another dog so the broken dog can kind of learn how to dog.
It's a helper doggy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who else got a dog? Who else did we bring in?
So Scrappy the boxer came in from just
A separate boxer.
a different boxer named Scrappy. He's, I think, 9 years old, really great with kids. I think we've got a potential adopter that may be good.
Yep.
So that's good.
Yep.
Gypsy Rose, which,
Oh my gosh.
first of all,
Okay. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off there, but
did you get
I have not watched this documentary
it's
yet,
not even it's just okay.
but I saw a picture
Crime Live
across my TikTok or something.
look just like her.
Holy cow.
So
Yeah.
Gypsy Rose is this crusty little wiener dog with the biggest decrepit, like holes in its fur patches, like walks like the slowest thing you ever saw. Its little tail looks like a dried up Twizzler. Like it is so sad looking. And I fell immediately in love because
course.
this is the way. And I was talking to my daughter and I said, what do we name this thing? And she rattled off a couple names. I'm like, no. And then she goes, I know it. I see it. And I'm like, what? She's getting really good at this. Gypsy Rose. And I lost it because she looks exactly like Gypsy Rose Blanchard, who is the girl who her mother had Munchausen by proxy. And so her mother kept her sick for her whole life. And
That's the one.
yes. And so then eventually Gypsy Rose got a boyfriend and got brave and killed her mom. So then she's been in prison all this time. Well, she got out this year and she got some plastic surgery.
FAFO. I
Broke up with the boyfriend, is, out living life, swagging that thing around. But it is so funny because she has been in the news so much and that nose is unmistakable. And when this dog turns to the side, it is Gypsy Rose to a T. So anyway, this got a million shares because she's an adorable little dog. People love wiener dogs, as we know, and they love little crusty musties. So we got, a couple hundred shares. Through the comments, there'll be just like a strange, like elderly lady that'll be like, I don't get it.
Yeah.
And then a lot of laughing.
Yeah,
And I was like, I should post the picture of Gypsy Rose in the comments, but I'm like, no, it has to just be something that you figure out on your own. Very funny.
Well, now I'm gonna have to go watch this. I remember everybody freaking out about this documentary, but
There's
can tell
several.
how much I spend my days watching MASH.
Yeah,
Golden
you got to
Girls.
break in some true crime here and there. This is the one. This is like a really good story.
Right.
So anyway, I actually transferred her to a brand new foster named Janelle, who is absolutely lovely, and they are taking her to an appointment to get some last minute blood work before I think she's probably got an adopter because we've had a couple of applications.
Yeah, nice gal from Iowa State vet men.
Yeah, I hope that she
She'll be
works
perfect.
out. Yeah, we'll see who works out and where she ends up, but I think she's got some good options for a 14-year-old. Nearly deaf, nearly blind, patchy fur, crusty, little Cheeto puff of a
Chihuahua.
fugitive Chihuahua. Yeah, hilarious.
So cute though. It's the ears.
Her
They're
ears
like
stick out, and she's got this bendy schnoz. Oh God, it's funny. Okay.
Dorito. I did not name this dog,
No,
and I wouldn't have named it that either.
no,
But anyway,
it doesn't matter because he's so cute.
Well, you had named him Batman for the transport.
Yeah,
Which totally fits.
yeah.
When you're looking at him, so he's a Chihuahua pug,
Mm-hmm.
and he's
squishy
brindle.
Beautiful.
He is a beautiful dog,
That's
and he's
funny.
2 years old. He's got tons of energy. It's bounces around. He is so curious about everything. And I went and picked him up out of Bethany and brought him home. And he was marking everywhere at first.
He
And
had
I
a
was like,
pee
okay.
frenzy.
So I took him outside on the hour, every hour. And then when he came back in, I put a belly band around him.
Mm-hmm.
And the first 2 belly bands he definitely went
Yeah.
through. And then the third one was a little less. And after that,
Fun, good.
nothing. Now, he was neutered today. I picked him up from the vet before I came here.
Yeah.
And I think I know that will help immensely. But that's all it took.
That happens all the time, though.
3 belly bands, and he had it figured out.
Yeah.
And so now tomorrow I will likely leave the belly band off.
Yeah.
And see what happens.
Yeah.
Or I'll put the belly band on.
They probably want to let him air out down there after his balls got removed.
Well, it's
on
back
back
end, so
Far up.
he did have round little nuggets, but
Oh my goodness.
not anymore.
Anytime these little bitties come rocking into the house. They're like, hey.
Oh, he's all like,
And then,
muscly,
yeah,
too.
macho with those big old balls sticking out the back. They love to pee on everything for like the first 24 hours. And people will be like, oh my gosh, this dog is a nightmare. I'm like, just give it a minute.
Right.
It's freaking out. It has to pee everywhere. So
yeah.
wrap up that wanker and let's roll and roll. So he's cute. He'll be gone by the next time we talk.
Yeah. So I like I said, I just got that text message from an applicant. And so
Good.
hopefully that'll
Yeah.
work out.
Yeah. That'd be my type. I like that dog. So then we got 2 more spicy tarts. They came from Oklahoma. There was a really large hoarding case, which I went back to the people that we actually pulled these dogs from one of those Oklahoma shelters that ended up with all of them. And they were like, help, we don't know what to do with all these dogs.
Right.
And I said, were there any news stories or charges filed or anything like that? And they're like, no, because it's Oklahoma.
It's Oklahoma.
No one gives a hoot.
Well, they are so overwhelmed down there. It's insane. You think it's bad
Stray
here?
dogs are everywhere.
It's crazy.
So we got Goomba. I think I'm saying that right. It's a reference to Mario, I guess. An angry little brown mushroom that is mean. I don't know. He looks like a kind of a corgi mix. He's really cute. Corgi Chihuahua looking thing.
Yeah.
The other one is named Buzz, and he is what I think looks like a little Chewini. He's kind of low and long and black and white and cute. And I don't have them posted yet, but I will probably by the time this goes live. I just need to get good pictures of them. They're just terrified.
Yeah.
They're really scared.
They're really broken down.
But they'll be okay. We got them with 2 really good fosters. One new foster, but who is not new to fostering. She's new to fostering for us. So we're excited to have her, Nikki. And then the other one is with Tracy and Johnny. And I told Johnny not to pet Goomba. Nikki. But anyway, Tracy and Johnny's, I said, do not pet this dog. Just leave it alone. Reports are that Johnny has petted the dog and the dog did not like it.
Weird. He is a bit of a whisperer, though.
He's really good. He'll have that.
Anybody that can do it.
He'll have that dog fixed in no time.
Yeah.
So other one is Banjo, the cutest little scruffy black. Holy, it's good. Neither one of us have set eyes on that thing.
My dad even said, he goes, I'm glad that dog didn't come here. He is, what is it, like 4 pounds?
Yeah, 4 or 5 pounds. He's supposedly, they did a DNA test and he's a Chihuahua American Eskimo dog, but there's no way that there's anything in there besides.
We had
like,
one of those before.
he looks like a Chorky.
Foxy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't look at all like that.
No. So he's teeny tiny and he's already got 600 apps, so he's got somewhere to be. Just hasn't gotten adopted quite yet. And then that's it. And then adoptions, Ruckus, obviously, because he came in and got adopted in an hour and a half. Kiefer, who is a little black Chihuahua who came in when the owner had a stroke and wasn't able to care for him. They flew him up here from Florida to get help in Iowa. And Shoddy, that fat Lena, he got adopted by a family that goes to Paws and Pints. So he goes to daycare and Cam has him in daycare and she's just over the moon. He's so cute. Raven, another wiener dog. So we're cutting down on our ween population. I got one, like a half of one right now because Gypsy Rose is only like 7 pounds. And then Old Yeller got adopted. We'll see if that one sticks. He's having a little bit of a hard time settling in. We're training him through it and we'll see what we can do to make it work. But we offered some training and some meds and we'll see. And Padlock, as of right now, apparently she's going to think I'm ignoring her because she's sending me money and whatnot, but yay.
That's awesome.
I hope it works out.
If it doesn't, our number is unlisted. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. We did just change our phone number today, so.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So all of those dogs are our ins and outs for the last couple weeks. Quick feature on our adoptable dog.
I don't get how this dog is still here.
He is the grumpy cat of dogs.
Yes.
This dog has a permanent, hold on, I can do it because I tried really hard as a kid to teach myself how to do an actual
Yes.
that. No.
Yeah.
I looked in the mirror for a lot of years learning how to do it. Yeah.
Yes.
It's hard to do. Anyway, the grumpy cat frown, that's exactly how his mouth looks, like a perfect upside down U. He's 2 years old.
But he's not spicy.
No, he plays.
He just doesn't like little kids.
He's not a big fan of little kids, but he loves to run.
Either.
Me neither.
Well, there you go.
So he loves to run and play in the yard
too, I guess. So what do you say to
I'm always open to offers.
Trial run.
Yeah, shoot, why not? He's a Brussels Griffon Cairn Terrier mix, and that is just an estimation because of his scruffy nature and the shape of his mouth and our guess. A Brussels has that really great little frowny mouth, so it makes me think he's got that in him, but who knows? He's about 26 pounds. He's a boy. He is being fostered by Morgan, who... Should we talk about her name?
Yes, absolutely. Our featured foster. We normally do this at the end of the show, but this is fitting.
Yeah, it's all flowing. So Morgan is this wonderful young lady. She just turned 21, and
Is that all?
yes, and in dog life experience, she's a 56-year-old rescuer, old haggard woman who knows everything about dogs. But in real life, she's a spunky, peppy, wonderful human who's just she's got the touch.
It's something about her aura that does these dogs in, because she has taken monsters and turned them in. I mean, well, that one that came in with Morty.
Twat waffle.
That's the one. Awful little dog.
Completely fixed her. And adopted her out
To an elderly couple.
who's doing great. She talked them through exactly what to do to get her to fit in and settle in. This couple listened, and it has worked out well. They're taking little Twatosaurus all over the place. She's going to Petco and whatnot. She's having a life. They take her on walks. And I tell you, I had her at my house, and she was bad. I don't know how she turned that around, but it was like just days, and she had her up on her bed with her. So she really just has this magical way. She's like Snow White. The dogs sing along, and it's so cute. She has a few dogs of her own, but my favorite and the one I know best is named Panda. Panda is the sister of a couple of other dogs that we actually took in recently, the Border Collie mixes, so Yennefer and Siri.
Mm-hmm.
And Yennefer, Siri. See, that's why I said we need to rename that dog.
Our phones are going.
Yeah. But Panda is like got a crazy training thing going on. She'll tell her to do these flips, and she does flips. She'll jump into her arm. She'll jump on her back and spin. It's so cool. And she's taught her all of that stuff on her own without any formal training as a dog trainer. Like, she's really good.
And how do you know Morgan? How did you?
So I met her through Paws and Pints because my dog park BFF, I guess, V, she and I bonded last summer over our love for pugs, and it is her cousin.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. And now Morgan has become a big part of my life. I see her often, and she helps me out with a lot of things, as well as, helping us with the rescue. But she started fostering because V brought her along that night that all of those dogs came in from the Knoxville.
Oh, I remember her being there.
And she showed up, and she had, who just passed away this year, she had Basil, who was like a 19-year-old little Sheltie.
Yeah.
And there was a Sheltie in this group. And so as soon as she saw the Sheltie, she was like, well, I guess I could try this fostering.
Right.
And I want to try out this dog, and see how it goes. Completely fixed that terrified dog, got her a wonderful home, and then was hooked from there, I think.
I worked with her when Rodman got away from his new owner.
Yeah.
She didn't even... So this gal adopted Rodman, who was one of the Chihuahuas from Indianola.
Yes.
Now,
Well, Indianola.
whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, lovely girl, super sweet, and didn't even get him through the door, and he got away from her, and she felt awful. She lived down in Valley Junction, and
He was on the
Morgan
run.
doesn't live far from there.
Yeah, just a couple blocks from where he got loose.
Yeah. And so she helped. She was
spotting him.
I drove down there right away, tried to spot this dog, and she's driving around, and we're hooking up, and then we set traps out, and Morgan went religiously through
check
the
them.
night.
Yeah.
Like every hour, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, taking barbecue sauce and all kinds of stuff down there and putting it all over the tree. She is amazing.
Yeah.
I just love her.
And by the way, we're still we may not be on 100% record for no dog returns, but we are at 100% record for catching every dog that runs away from us. We did trap that dog with some help from an organization here in town.
Yep.
And and with lots of help from Morgan and Holly. And
Definitely.
I let a raccoon out of a trap. That's really all I did in that whole situation.
Completely off topic, but I caught raccoon number 8 and 9 this morning in my raccoon traps at home. So getting pretty professional at that.
What else did you catch in your trap?
Stanley.
Stanley is her Yorkie. And her very own dog.
So I used to put cheap cat food in these coon traps to, attract the coons. And I woke up, what was it, 3 or 4 mornings ago, and I looked out there and I'm like, because I catch all kinds of things. I catch possums. I caught a skunk last week or 2 weeks ago. That was fun. And I look out there and I'm like, what is that? Like, it's not a possum. It's not a cute little, I'm like, what color? And it's like 50 or 75 yards out there to the chicken coop. And so I put on my clogs and my robe and I walk out there. It's freaking Stanley, my dog. I have no idea how long he was out there because he goes out in the middle of the night, he hears something and he hits that dog door and he's gone.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, bud. Oh, you do you, bud. Whatever you want to do. Well, he must have had a little midnight snack because he was.
Did he finish the cat food though?
Oh yeah. Oh, of course. Like, man, he was happy to see me though. Holy cow. So now I use cracked corn.
Oh, because you don't care about that.
No. Yeah. But anyway, sorry.
I had to make you tell that.
The life,
I know it's so
life and
ridiculous.
tales of Holly's chicken adventures.
I love it.
So yes, Morgan, absolute gem.
We're
Sweet as pie.
thrilled to have her, and
And you know what? I bet she's pretty scrappy too. I bet she could lay down.
well, she's not afraid of any biting dog.
No,
So
she's a tamer.
Yeah.
I wouldn't screw with her.
no,
Not. I mean,
she's got the biggest, most gentle heart in the whole wide world.
yeah,
Yeah, I think she could hold her.
beautiful girl.
Yeah, she looks like Merida, that big, long red
Hair. Yeah,
taming the animal.
gorgeous.
Yeah. Okay, moving on. We can skip. Let's talk about our very first time we ever jumped into a horde.
Oh. That was.
It's been a long time ago, so we had to look back in our old Facebook memories to confirm, but for some reason Holly knew almost the exact date in her head when I asked her when it was.
These things stick with me.
Yeah. So January of 2019, I got a phone call from an old friend who I used to party with back in Fort Dodge, Iowa. And if you've ever been in Fort Dodge or taken in any substances in Fort Dodge, Iowa, you know just how dirty that place can be. So anyway, she works there, and she had a coworker who was mentioning to her that she had befriended this old guy guy who his girlfriend had passed away, and she
Suddenly she had a heart attack.
really
or a
quick.
stroke
Yeah,
or
it was
something.
really a sudden thing. And he was having a hard time taking care of the dogs she left behind. And so he had some mental health issues for sure.
As there always are with
Yeah.
situations. And I think that she probably had mental health issues as well because
Girlfriend, yeah,
that-
obviously, if she was
Right.
living in that. Because it hadn't been that long.
he had said that, they were breeding them and trying to sell them. But then I don't think that it was necessarily that they couldn't sell them. It was that
She
she
couldn't
couldn't
let
let
them
them go.
Yeah.
Which happens
How hoarding
time and time and time and time and time again. And so anyway, I was working in Des Moines at the time. That I was still working at G-Commerce then.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And I was sitting up in my office, and you and me and Chris were
On a
chatting
chat.
about this.
Yeah.
Another
So this is
group
back
chat.
in the Fluffy Butts days. And so I messaged Chris and I said, hey, I think we have kind of an urgent situation. What do we do? And then we got a call from this gal who was the coworker of my old friend. And she said, hey, this guy is really weird and he doesn't let people into his house, but I think he's going to let us in tonight.
Yeah.
Like now or never.
Right.
So
You have to jump on those opportunities because people change their mind in a heartbeat.
oh, yeah. So I left from Urbandale. You left from work, I think. No, you must have ran home. Would you have?
Well, it's on the way.
Yeah.
So I went into my boss's office like, I gotta go. I'll see you tomorrow. And I left. Like, what is he gonna do? Fire me?
Yeah. The number of times I've done that, nobody even questions me anymore. I'm like, dogs, gotta go. Bye. And so we drove separately and made it there almost exactly at the same time.
Yeah.
Met in the parking lot.
It was cold. It was January.
It was cold.
Yeah.
Met this girl. She drove us to the house and the guy wasn't there.
Which in hindsight,
We have a lot of in hindsight things. Wait till we talk about the hindsight of her, because there's a lot stupider stuff that happened in the story.
Right. Probably should have taken somebody with it.
Like, or a weapon,
A cop, maybe.
a police officer of some sort would have been a good idea.
I don't know if that would have agitated the situation.
He wouldn't have let us in. I don't think.
No.
'Cause he would have been too afraid to.
Right.
He didn't want to get caught for what was going on inside this house, which was
Absolutely horrendous.
So he was away, and she was calling him. I'm like, oh my God, I feel terrible. I made Holly drive all the way down here, and the guy's not even going to show up. But he does.
Yeah.
He pulls up.
It was like the inside of a garage, like a garage that like an old guy has just collected every single thing off of every single part of every
Anything
type
he's
of
ever looked
action,
at. Yeah.
and never threw anything away, and smoked in that garage like 4 packs a day with the doors closed.
And
And no
cigarettes
fan.
on the ground.
Right.
The cigarettes on the ground.
But this was his
But
house.
But it was a house.
Right.
The ground
Like
was
subfloor.
subfloor with dirt on top of it.
Yeah.
In his house.
Right.
I've never
All
seen
throughout.
anything like it, and I never will again, I don't think. It was awful.
And you walked in the door, and there was like this, what I assumed used to be like a dining room area.
Yeah.
And then on this wall to your right was just kennels on top of kennels.
I think they
on
were
top of
4
kennels.
high.
And they're, the shit's just going
Yeah.
through the kennels on top of the dogs underneath those kennels. And there's like at least 2 dogs and, multiple kennels.
Yeah.
And they're all little dogs. And the smell is just
Like, you can't even breathe. Awful.
the ammonia. It was that ammonia.
Yeah. So the among the things that had been collected in this home, as we look down on the ground, and here's where, I like to think that I have a lot of common sense. But when it comes to saving a dog, I feel like it just kind of goes out the window, because on the ground of this place, there were actual like weapons.
Yeah, knives. Like
Open knives,
machetes, like big ass knives. And there's pornography
porn,
all over the wall.
toe, porn, every kind of and not just
the calendars.
yes, but also some pretty rancid stuff.
It was. And so then this guy goes, okay, so we're getting these dogs, and
I know what you're.
you're trying to keep your cool.
We're just focusing on the dogs, taking them out, loading them in the cars.
Somebody's trying to talk to him and so, tell me about this, and just trying to keep everything above water and keep everything cool and everybody calm, no sudden movements, just keep them talking. Yeah, let's get
And that was that girl
somebody
with
else
that
yeah.
knew him.
Yeah.
So she was helping with
But
that.
she didn't know him.
No.
It was like a friend of a friend.
I think he walked in. She works in a car dealership.
Yes, that's
he
what it
walked
was.
into the car dealership and said, "Hey, do you guys know who can help me?" pretty
Right.
much. And then this trickled down.
And so then he says, so we get most of these dogs loaded up, and I mean, he's cherry picking,
Which ones he wants to give us?
and I think he was down to the last 2, and we talked him into one of them, and then he was firm no on the last one. And the last one was in his bedroom, and he was like, do you want to see it?
Come to
And
me.
Kara and I go, yeah. I mean,
No way.
yes, yes,
No way.
yes. Because in that moment,
Tweedledee
your
back there.
adrenaline is so out of
Had to get that
control.
dog.
And seeing the state of the home and the state of the other dogs, that's all you can
We
think
had to go.
about. It's like, I have to get that dog out of there. I have to get that dog out of there. And so
We went in. There was a lot more porn in there.
oh my God. And they're no sheets on the bed. No, the pillow is yellow. No pillowcase. It was a really sad.
It was actually very, very sad, but it was so over the top that you couldn't even process it in the moment.
But so you've got mental health issues on top of extreme grief, compounded by a highly stressful situation, taking care of 12 dogs. This is a path for disaster, 100%. So unfortunately, we never did get that last dog out of there, and I think about it all the time. But hopefully taking that burden off of him.
That home
might
had to have.
But he, also he might have needed that dog. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know. The helm itself had to have been condemned. I mean, somebody had to have seen from the outside and like raised a flag and event. It is Fort Dodge though, so there's a lot of people living in a lot of hardship, a lot of squalor, a lot of filth, and not a lot of people doing a lot about it.
Yeah. I mean, there's like cars on blocks in the driveway. And there's broken down lawnmower.
Oh yeah, all the things.
You know, and it's January. There's lawnmowers in the front yard. Like,
yeah. But still to this day, I mean, the hoarding situation in Perry was probably as bad inside,
but we never saw it.
But we never saw it, and this is the worst place that we've ever been inside. And again, if you have it out for us and you want to kill us, just lure us in with a dozen dirty dogs, and I guess we'll show up and die there. But we didn't die that day.
It'll be fine. But I do now have my concealed carry, so
yeah, look out. Holly's packing.
So we load up all these dogs. I think I took 5 or 6. You took the rest, and I head straight to Marshalltown from there and dropped off. I think all but 2 of them. I took 2 home with me. I think. Anyway, they all got adopted eventually. Yeah. There was one with deteriorated jaw,
which Courtney adopted. Little Midge. She had like a deformed foot, and that little thing is still alive. I thought this dog is going to be like 30 seconds to this world, and that little crusty thing, she is this big, hilarious, and just really cute. And her whole has no bottom jaw, I don't think, and her whole tongue just hangs out, but she does fine.
Yeah,
she's all right.
But I drove from Fort Dodge to Marshalltown with my window in January with my windows down.
Same.
And I'm not exaggerating. I'm not trying to make this sound worse than it was. It was that bad.
It was that bad.
You got 5 or 6 dogs in your backseat that you just can't breathe. It's that ammonia. It's like burns your nose hairs.
Well, and the other thing that I did that I didn't realize until I got home, I drove that whole 2 hours or whatever it is with no music on.
Oh,
in
yeah.
complete and utter silence. Just with the windows down, just decompressing from what had happened. And I didn't even realize that I didn't even turn on the radio because I was so just like in this like, what in the heck just happened?
And you know, you kind of bring up a good point there. There's definitely some traumatizing situations that we've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, when you see living creatures in pain and turmoil, and I mean, you don't think about it. We don't think about it that way. I don't know. I mean,
because we're dead inside.
Yeah, we're totally dead inside. I'm traumatized, but rescue is at the bottom of that list.
There's a lot of worse things that have happened. But the other thing that it's done for me is, you know, as we go through like things that are mild inconveniences that feel like our week really sucked, or that it was annoying to have to talk to some person returning a dog or whatever, our lives are in just a such better place than the poor person living in this dirt floor, machete-filled porn den. Like that guy, he is at the bottom of the barrel, right? Like he's just, there's nothing, he can only go up. There is nothing lower than where he's living, and that's awful. But it gives me some perspective to feel thankful about what my life is, even if I'm having a crappy day.
Yeah,
you know,
you're right. Silver lining.
Yeah.
Blessings.
That was
all of it.
Yeah. So,
yeah, that was our first.
And I think from that moment, you know, we had been rescuing together for a little while at that point. But that was our first like together, and there was no communication between us as to what was going to happen next. We just did it. Like there was one person would do this, the next person would come in. There was no planning. You just go. And after like walking away from that and thinking about it, it's like, well, this person is someone that I could do absolutely anything with. Anyway, we'll figure it out.
Like, figure it out.
There's no, you know, so that's pretty special too. That like, you know, that's how it kind of, I think, started off in that, you know, that ultimate trust of
that's true. That's true.
You know, safe space.
We're trauma bonded.
It's very healthy. Our relationship is very healthy. Yeah, so that's the wildness of our very first hoarder rescue. The Dirty Dodge. It was a dozen, but we left one behind, unfortunately. So the Dirty Dodge 11.
Right. That never did really.
Doesn't roll off the tongue. Oh, yeah. I did want to just talk about our upcoming episode.
Oh, okay.
Just a quick teaser as to what's going to come next week.
Yes.
It's going to be Holly is the queen of all dog food knowledge. She is who I go to when I ask questions. And I know it's all just you've done your best to learn your best. And so for me, you're my real human source on where to go.
I'm not an expert by any means, but I
She's
think
an
I've got
expert
it.
in my world. Yeah. Knows more than me about dog nutrition. And so we're going to really dive into that. And so as we were thinking about and researching this episode, I was really wondering, you know, like if you were to like home make your dog food, like what kind of like what
I see what you're doing here. Okay, go ahead.
if you were to make your dog food, like what kind of vegetables should I put in there? Like what's a dog's favorite vegetable? Like do you think? Probably. So I was thinking about it and I think it's either cauliflower or broccoli, but I don't know which. I think either are good for dogs.
If none of you got that, that was her bad joke.
Anyway, stay tuned for next time for our toy episode.
The setup was impeccable.
She even got me on that one.
I do this at home, so like we'll be like doing something, you know, and I'll be like, "Oh my gosh, honey, did you like hear about this?" And he'll be like, "What?" He's like, "What happened?" You know?
He is so gullible.
And then I'll get him with the joke, and his immediate response always is, "I'm sleeping in the basement," or "I'm moving out," or like "I want a divorce." And I did this thing for a whole month where I did that. Like I would set up jokes like that to like catch him until he didn't know it was coming, and then it worked every day for 30 days.
Oh man, that's good stuff.
But he doesn't ever laugh. I think he laughs internally. Like later he thinks about it and he's like, "Man, my life is hilarious."
So anyway, keep thinking that.
Okay, so we do have I think we're about to wrap up here, but we do have a heart dog episode or a heart dog submission for this episode, and that comes from Natasha, who is, you know, as you all know, one of our diehard volunteers and fosters. They had a very special dog that she wanted to write in about. Her thing is kind of long, so
Yeah, Natasha, we're gonna paraphrase here. I know you're fine with that. So her and Nick, Zaddy Nick, they started dating in September of 2015. He had a dog named Cinch. She had a dog named Bella. How did she get into this group with a dog named Bella?
I can't believe she admitted that to
I
us.
really can't. When she wrote that in, I was like, girl, we've been
This
dogging
is the
on
first
you.
time I actually read this, and that is embarrassing. Natasha. Good gravy.
Anyway, Natasha was city girl. Nick was country boy, just like Green Acres. He moved us out to the farm.
Deep dive.
I feel like I could have come up with that city girl and country boy just by the names of their dogs.
Right? In November of 17, Bella and Cinch were outside. Natasha was finishing getting ready for work, and Nick was in the shower. Kids were doing blah, blah, blah. She was just walking out the door when she heard the tire squeal and a dog yip. It was Bella. The neighbor had hit her with his truck. Oh, man. That is like my very worst nightmare.
I am terrified of that. My street, it goes so fast. I'm like a crazy person about the front door. I'm like, close both doors, because I'm so terrified that somebody's going to get out and get hit on that road.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Man, heard the sound. I am sure the sound that came out of my mouth was blood-curdling as Nick, half-dressed, flew down the stairs faster than I have ever seen him move in his life. He found me at the edge of our driveway trying to pick up my injured dog, and even though he was barefoot, he carried her through the gravel to my car where I raced her to Iowa State. After what seemed like an eternity, they brought me back to a little room to let me know that Bella's pelvis was shattered and her chances of walking again were almost zero. That day, with Nick by my side, I said goodbye to my best friend. That's the saddest thing in the world.
Oh, it just keeps getting worse, I think, in this story. But anyway, so she does a fast forward. We're looking at June 2017. And because these two are crazy dog lovers, on Father's Day, she wanted to show Zaddy Nick just how important he was to them. And so she made this huge plan to surprise him with a really special gift.
Yeah, she used her kids on this deal.
Yeah.
And her dad.
Yeah.
So she set her kids up at various places and her dad up at various places. And like the kids gave him kids gave him a package of duck decoys, and then
Oh, it was like a scavenger.
yeah,
Okay.
and then she got a duck gun,
Uh-huh.
and then they went back to the house.
Everybody
and she
went
was right in
together.
there with Bo.
And Bo was the best puppy. He was perfect in every way. And she was already in love because she picked him out. But that first night, Bo realized that it was all about Zaddy.
Was it?
Yeah. They spent every minute together. They would change tires on the truck. They were out in the shop together all the time. He was one of those intuitive dogs, which many are. Not all are, though, as intuitive as, they would know. He knew when somebody needed to pick me up. They learned really quick, though, that even with that scavenger hunt of all the duck paraphernalia, Bo was not going to hunt any ducks.
No, wasn't there.
He was 115 pounds.
Oh my god,
So
big lab.
that's a big boy.
He's a big boy.
Mm-hmm. So they started calling him their little black bear, and he wouldn't even get in the water. What kind of lab are you? They said. And they would still go down to the creek. And let's see.
Never met a piece of food that he wouldn't eat. No shit.
Yeah, he was
15
115 pounds. But he was like a healthy, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful dog.
Now, another sad part of the story is Bo did pass away earlier this year.
Suddenly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was.
They didn't know he was going to pass away. And I think one of those hearts too big for their body situations. He just.
But when she posted that, and she posted all the pictures, like it's one of those, like TikTok reel, like
you could see the lifetime going through.
yeah, like he was with him on the lawnmower, and you can Nick's like working on a truck, and there's Bo and all
Yeah.
that. So cute.
So cute.
This is where grown men cry.
Yeah.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Yeah.
It's really hard.
It is the worst. So she quotes a song, which I kind of teared up about when I was reading this. It takes a lot to do that to me anymore, but it says, there's a Macklemore song that says, I heard you die twice. Once when they buried you in the grave, and the second time is the last time that somebody mentions your name. And I can imagine that to be true, that they still have a lot of memories, and if they hear that name or just anything that reminds them of him,
Yeah.
that's a lifetime of memories from a really special dog. So anytime their dogs do something naughty that reminds them of their big old black bear, it just reminds them all over again that he's gone. And so that's tough. But they are keeping his memory alive by saving so many dogs.
Oh man.
They are foster extraordinaires, as we've mentioned before.
I don't know if they're extraordinary or crazy.
Yeah, they're dumb. They're like, they don't think about things. They would walk into a machete-filled
She would definitely.
Yeah, Natasha would just prance on in there, absolutely no problem.
Okay.
Yeah, she's just as dumb as us. So in the sweetest way, we are so glad to be able to celebrate those two very special dogs, and thanks for sharing your heart story with us. So
Sorry if we slaughtered it.
yeah,
Trying to paraphrase it. You wrote a small novel there. You should publish it.
we are audiobook people. We are not readers. Okay, we listen to our stories. We did our best, but pretty special. And then I think I'm going to wrap this up with a really quick happy tale.
Yeah.
I got a text message yesterday. I was down at the art festival, and this little French bulldog popped up in my text messages. I'm like, she looks familiar. Well, a year ago, June 25th, so art festival time, little Linda, the French bulldog, who is now named Mabel, was adopted. Craziest thing, though, when they adopted her, that happened, which is also sad. Why are we going to end this on? I'll end it on a happy uptick, but when they came to adopt Linda, they brought along their beloved French bulldog. And when
They came from like Minnesota. or
yeah,
something,
up
right?
from Minnesota.
Yeah.
They drove all the way. They came to meet Linda. Everything was great. They decided they were going to adopt her. And then on the way home, their French bulldog went into a full-fledged
seizure.
attack. And they had to end up leaving their first Frenchie at Iowa State because they had to get home. They had to take Linda home.
Right.
And they were going to come back to get their dog, and he ended up passing away at the hospital. It was terrible.
That was the wildest story I've ever.
That was awful. But they did end up on that day with who is now Mabel. And since then, they have adopted a half Frenchie, half English bulldog, which I'm going to share a picture of this on our Instagram when this comes out because they are so cute together. They love to play outside, enjoy smelling all the smells. They go on 2 walks a day and the dog park at least once a week. So she thanks us for letting them adopt her, and we thank her for loving little Mabel. So that's our happy tale for the week.
Great.
Yeah. So anyway, I think the lessons here are,
What are they?
I don't know.
We haven't learned them.
We haven't learned any lessons. We just keep trying to figure it out. That's what happens. And, we make it through. What a fun roller coaster of an episode. We really started out kind of bummed and we got a couple nice text messages in the middle. That was fun for you to all follow along in real time.
Unmarked vans and porn down. That's what's going to take us out.
Yep. We'll figure it out and we'll talk to you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
We'll figure it out.
Oh my dog.
What I mean when I see, what I see, what I feel, when I dream, when I be, I'm a freak. What up? Oh, what up? Everybody look at me when I'm free, when I feel, what I see, when I do it, I'm a freak. What up? Oh, what up? Say what we got, it's hot to spot, give up the drop, see what we got, do what, do what? We got to go, the body flow, too hot to show, the front row, we won't stop.